In 1922, an Indian archaeologist named R.D. Banerjee stood on a dusty mound above the Indus River, in what is now Pakistan. He was there to examine a crumbling Buddhist stupa, a monument he assumed perhaps 2,000 years old. The locals had a name for the place. In Sindhi, they called it Mohenjo-Daro, the Mound of the Dead. As Banerjee's team dug beneath the stupa, they found bricks, then walls, then streets, and then something unsettling. The streets kept going, down and out in every direction, an entire city sleeping under the plain. And the deeper they dug, the older it got. 2,000 years old, Banerjee had guessed. He was off by more than 2,500. The city under the mound was older than Rome, older than classical Greece, older even than the pyramids at their prime. It belonged to a civilization no historian had ever named, one that had ruled a territory larger than Egypt and Mesopotamia combined, and then vanished so completely that humanity forgot it had ever existed. For 4,000 years, no one knew. That is the first mystery of Mohenjo-Daro. It will not be the last. Let me describe this city, and as I do, keep one number in mind: 4,500 years ago. The streets are laid out on a grid-long, straight avenues crossing at right angles, oriented to the cardinal directions. Nothing about the city is accidental. It was planned, all of it, before the first brick was laid. And those bricks, millions of them, fired in kills, and every single one made to the same proportions, a ratio of 4 to 2 to 1, whether it was laid in a rich man's house or a workshop wall. The same standard across an entire civilization. Most houses had private bathing rooms. Many had their own wells. Wastewater ran through covered drains beneath the streets, a sewer system with inspection points, maintained by someone generation after generation. Let that settle for a moment. In 2600 BC, a resident of Mohenjo-Daro had plumbing that most of Europe would not see again until the 19th century. Rome's famous sewers were still 2,000 years in the future. At the city's high point stood its most famous structure, a great tank of watertight brick, sealed with tar, fed by its own well, the Great Bath. Not a palace, not a fortress, a public pool, likely used for ritual bathing, at the very center of civic life. Up to 40,000 people may have lived here, and Mohenjo-Daro was not alone. It was one of hundreds of settlements stretching across the Indus Valley, trading with lands as far away as Mesopotamia, where clay tablets mention a wealthy country across the sea they called Maluha, a superpower of the Bronze Age. And until a century ago, we didn't know its name. We still don't. Mohenjo-Daro is just what the locals called the Mound. Whatever the people of this city called their home, that word is lost. Here is where Mohenjo-Daro stops being impressive and starts being strange. Every ancient civilization we know announces its rulers. Egypt has pyramids. Mesopotamia has royal tombs stacked with gold. China has terracotta armies. Rulers do not let themselves be forgotten. Mohenjo-Daro has nothing. No palace, no royal tomb, no temple towering over the skyline, no statue of a conqueror, no victory monument, no carving of a king receiving tribute. Archaeologists have searched for a century through the largest city of one of the largest civilizations on Earth, and they have not found a single image of a ruler that anyone can agree on. There is one small stone figure, a bearded man with a patterned robe and calm, half-closed eyes. Archaeologists nicknamed him the Priest King. But the name is a confession of ignorance. There is no evidence he was a priest, no evidence he was a king. He is 17 centimeters tall, and he is the closest thing to a leader this whole civilization left behind. And yet, someone standardized every brick. Someone kept the weights and measures identical across 1 million square kilometers. The little stone cubes merchants used balance perfectly from city to city. Someone maintained the drains, organized the granaries, planned the streets. You cannot run a civilization of 5 million people without decisions being made. But whoever made them refused, for 700 years, to put their face on anything. Some scholars imagine councils of merchants and elders. Some see a priesthood ruling through ritual rather than force. Some suggest something almost modern, a society where power itself was distributed, deliberately kept faceless. The honest answer is simpler. We don't know who was in charge. We only know that no one ever bragged about it, which makes the Indus Valley unique among every civilization of the ancient world. They did right. That's the maddening part. Their script survives on thousands of small objects. Carved seals of soapstone, amulets, pottery, copper tablets. Little pictograms. A fish, a wheel, a figure with horns, marks like combs and ladders. Around 400 distinct signs. And no one on earth can read a word of it. It is not for lack of trying. Linguists have attacked the Indus script for 100 years. Computer scientists have run it through the same code-breaking methods that cracked wartime ciphers. Every few years, someone announces a breakthrough. Every few years, it collapses. The problem is structural. The inscriptions are short. Most are just 4 or 5 signs. There are no long texts, no books, no walls of writing. And crucially, there is no Rosetta Stone, no lucky artifact where the same message appears in the Indus script beside a language we already know. Think about what stands behind that wall of silence. Every seal might carry a name, a god, a title, family. The answers to every question in this video may already be sitting in museum drawers, written plainly, in a script of 400 signs, waiting for a key that may not exist. We can read the mind of Egypt. We can read the receipts of Babylon. From the Indus, the largest of the three, we cannot read a single sentence. An entire civilization on permanent mute. Around 1900 BC, after 7 centuries, the world of Mohenjo-Daro began to end. For decades, the story was told with drama. An early excavator found 37 skeletons sprawled in the streets, unburied, some in strange positions, and declared them victims of a massacre. Invaders from the north, he said, had put the city to the sword. Modern analysis dismantled that story. The skeletons come from different periods. Most show no violent injuries. There is no burn layer, no heap of weapons, no battlefield. In fact, across the entire Indus civilization, archaeologists have found almost no evidence of warfare at all. No siege scars, no armor, no art celebrating battle. Whatever killed Mohenjo-Daro, it wasn't a sword. The real story seems slower and, in its way, sadder. The monsoon was weakening. Rivers that fed the civilization's fields were shifting course. One great river system to the east was drying out entirely. Trade with Mesopotamia thinned. Harvest by harvest, the cities became harder to feed. The drains stopped being repaired. Fine houses were subdivided into cramped ones. Pottery grew rougher. The great institutions, the standard bricks, the uniform weights, faded first, as if the invisible government quietly went out of business. And then people simply left. Eastward, mostly toward the Ganges, dissolving into villages. No final battle. No burning horizon. A civilization of 5 million people ended the way a tide goes out. Within a few centuries, even the memory was gone. The Indus Valley would not appear in any history, any legend, any book. Not one clear reference, for nearly 4,000 years, until a man examining a Buddhist ruin noticed the bricks beneath it were far too old. Today, Mohenjo-Daro faces its last enemy, and it is not time. It is salt. Groundwater rises through the ancient bricks. carrying salt that crystallizes and slowly shatters them from within. Archaeologists estimate that much of what was excavated has already been damaged. It survived 4,500 years underground. It may not survive 200 in the open air, which is why most of the city has never been excavated at all. The mounds stretch far beyond the uncovered streets, and researchers have chosen to leave them sealed, because right now the ground itself is a better museum than we are. So this is where we leave the city with no name. Its writing sits unread in glass cases on 3 continents. Its rulers, if it had rulers, remain faceless. Its people walked out of history so quietly that history did not notice for 4 millennia. And yet, in the things we can see, they may be the most relatable people of the entire Bronze Age. They did not build monuments to warlords. They built bathrooms and wells and drains that worked. Their greatest public building was not a throne room. It was a bath. While their contemporaries carved their kings into cliff faces, the people of the Indus invested in something humbler, the comfort of ordinary lives, lived on clean streets in quiet dignity. Maybe that is why we can't read them. Every script we've ever cracked, we cracked through the boasts of kings. The Indus had no boasts, only a city, waiting under the plain, holding 400 signs worth of silence, and the strange, patient hope that someday, someone will find the key.